Hey, yo, what's going on right now? You're watching Casino is the Name. And in this video, we're going to talk about what to invest in. Um, and then break down my thoughts on stocks, real estate, and basically businesses. And let me explain why I feel the way I feel about things. So, this new administration, um, we know major companies are going to do well. We know big business is going to do well. Small businesses, not so sure about. Um, so I would definitely say investing in if you're going to do stocks, invest in larger companies. And I'm gonna go further into discussing stocks. We're going to talk about stocks, real estate, as well as other businesses. And so just an overall video about what my perspective is of of investing, I guess. Just in general, investing in general. So now I am an accountant. I've been in trucking, real estate. I've done Turo. I've done Airbnb. I've done government contracts. I've done a lot of different things, okay? And of course, I always believe in investing in yourself first. Invest in yourself. Invest in your education. Invest in your career. Invest in just just what if you in your own business, invest in, like, whatever you're connected to, invest in that first. That's my perspective, of course. After you've already invested in yourself and you're looking for other things to invest in, because you investing in yourself is paying off, right? Like, let's just use me for an example. I make a pretty decent salary and I have some money, set aside, and I'm able to bring in more money than I have going out. So with that excess money, what do? I can turn around and reinvest it in myself. And if I'm at a point where, just going to use me for example, but say I'm at a point where I'm cool, right? I don't have a lot more. I don't have several thousands of dollars that I'm looking to necessarily have to invest in my personal development. I'm not looking to go to any courses or trainings on any particular thing. I'm cool where I'm at now. I just want to use my money to work for me. And so at this point, I'm looking for other things to invest in, whether or not it's businesses, whether or not it's stocks, whether or not it's real estate, whatever it is. So I started to look, well, I've been looking at a lot of different things. I looked at a lot of different things. I even just bought a little Bitcoin and sold some Bitcoin, just a small amount, made a little profit, took my profits, went to the house with it. But I don't want to get, I'm not like necessarily like looking to just say, hey, I'm just gonna listen to what everybody's saying online and buy a bunch of cryptocurrencies. I'm not saying that process couldn't work, but I'm looking for a long-term investment, something I can invest in long term. And long term, of course, doesn't necessarily mean 20 or 30 years, but I want something that I don't have to continue to keep watching, that I can just say, okay, I'm gonna put this money here and it's just gonna go there every month or every couple weeks or whatever. And I got a plan for 5, 10, maybe 20 years for that to just grow into something. But I need to have something that's solid. So I've been analyzing all sorts of different investment vehicles, and I've been taking a pretty active approach to it. So, for instance, I've been looking at real estate. Been looking at real estate crazy. I recently sold a house. Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm just seeing some of the messages. Rashida Murray said, "Hey y'all, what's poppin', Rashida?" King 318 said, "What up, Casino? So when you ready to break me off my 200?" Hey, hey, hold on. Okay, hold on. What I owe you 200 for? If I owe you 200, I got you. But but if I owe you 200, I got you. Um, how about a bread route? A bread route. You gotta further elaborate on that. You gotta further elaborate on that. So I recently sold a house that I remodeled, and it was a pretty good experience. I made like 50 something thousand on the profit side. Made 50 something, I think 54,000 on the profit or something like that. That was a good flip. That was a good flip, right? And that I paid some cars off, still got a couple dollars. Lakers bet. Oh, oh. Wait, did I bet? I didn't bet you on the Lakers. I ain't put no money on that. I ain't put no money on the Lakers. You trying to trick me? All right, I ain't put no money on the Lakers. I don't bet on games, basketball games. but but yeah. So I I was looking at real estate again. Like I got a couple dollars. Been looking at a lot of different things, and I'm thinking, you know what? I got an eye for real estate as far as like from the remodeling side. I have like ideas, and I like to see them come to life, and I know people would like them. My ideas for things if I was able to create it. So I was looking at that kind of stuff, and I was looking at commercial real estate. I've always just wanted to own a commercial building. I actually almost bought a commercial building. I had got some money from government contracts, and almost bought this building, but the guy who was supposed to have been selling me the building backed out like 8 days before we closed. It was in the location that I wanted. It was great. And he backed out, so that ended up not going anywhere. King 318 says you can buy bread route delivery, bread at different grocery stores. Okay, well, I want to look into that. I mean, I'll look into that for sure. I'm definitely going to look into that. Or, you can provide more information about it, right here. Like how much money can you make on a bread route? What does it require? As far as I know, it may require some trucks, but does it require you have to have a certain kind of certifications, or can you do it with a box truck, or do you have to have a CDL? Like, do you have to have a semi truck to do it? It says low investment to start, high returns. You just need to hire a reliable person. Definitely gonna look into that. Definitely, y'all. Let's pay attention to these bread routes. Hey, we need to pay attention to these bread routes. He said low investment to start, high returns. You just need to hire a reliable person. Hey, that's what's up. We finna look into that. Thank you, sir. King 318, appreciate that, brother. So I was looking at some commercial property, and there was another building that I would love to have, but the guy wants 380,000. Now the building it's not operational currently. It needs a lot of work, right? And it's in my desired location. No CDL needed. Okay, for sure. I'm definitely looking at that. So the building is in a desired location. The guy wants 380,000, and he does not want to own or finance. So I was like, first of all, I don't have $380,000 to put in a rundown building of all things. You can't even get a loan on it because it needs work, right? It needs a lot of work. But it is a building that I would like to have for sure, long term especially. But I don't actually have any business plans for it. I don't actually have like anything that I want to do with the building. I just wanted the building. And I realized that a lot of my desires for real estate, I've been looking at land, I've been looking at buildings, I've been looking at a lot of different things, houses. I'm not really looking at condos and things like that. But I was looking at houses, and then it was like kind of like, well, it would have to be, rental property or Airbnb. And it's like, I don't really want to be a landlord again. I honestly don't. I just really don't. Definitely not on a single family type of vibe or anything like that. Maybe if it was an apartment building where I could hire staff to handle certain things or something. But I don't really want to be dealing with tenants personally. I just don't. I don't want to. It's definitely not unless it's like apartment buildings, type of thing, like a major, like this thing is its own like business in itself. Because like when you rent out one house or two houses, them couple $100 profit that ain't really like it's not really nothing major. If you're making a $300 profit renting a house, you're making a $500 profit renting a house, $1,000 profit renting a house. Even if you had two or three of them, that's $2,000 or $3,000. I can't live off that. I can't say, hey, this $2,000 or $3,000 is I can hire a full-time staff person with this money. Like, I won't have any profit. Like, it's not enough money. But if I had an apartment building, then hey, then something like that. So I was like, okay, well, I automatically know I got to be in commercial real estate if I'm going to go into real estate again, unless I'm just fixing up to flip it. Like if I'm flipping, then cool. So then I started looking at that because I just flipped the house. Makes sense for me to look back into it. But there's going to be a lot of foreclosures coming. There's going to be a lot of potential transferring of real estate in the next coming years. There's going to be a lot of things in the market. And I believe that if you don't get out now, it's going to be a while. Excuse me. It's going to be a while because even brand new houses are coming down. They're not going up like they were going up, like the value of my current house is down compared to where it was. If I tried to sell this right now, the value is a little down, maybe $30,000-$40,000 down. Still way more than what I owe or what I bought it for, but it's not. At the rate I was going, I should be close to like. At the rate that I was going, at this point, I should be close to like 480 right now. It might be around 3 something, like 390, 370. Still, I owe 200. I bought it for 233. I'm still good. It's just not. It's not trending up right now because even the new houses are either staying stagnant or they're coming down a little. So it's gonna get worse. There's going to be a lot of things being dumped into the market. And as those things get dumped into the market, in the future, if you got cash, then you'll be able to buy some things that'll do you good long term. As things come down, that's how it works, right? When things become cheap, you buy up everything you can get and you just wait until things turn back around. So of course, you got to get liquid. So right now, I'm getting as liquid as I can. I'm trying to store as much money as I can and not be overzealous and just run out and buy something. So that's also why I'm not really like looking to buy any real estate currently right now. Hold on. I got a couple things that we in the chat. King 318 says maybe need like 10 to 15K to start. The bread is already the bread that we buy in the store for sure. You're basically keeping the stores stocked up. I like that. I mean, I was in trucking, so of course that makes total sense to me. All right, so D-Twin Rucker says, what's up? What's good, bro? What's popping, bro? Galvanized Financial TV says, facts, the type of money doesn't change your life. That type of money doesn't change your life. Been a landlord for 18 years and I was over it. That's a fact. I was a landlord over 10 years. So tired of that. I'm done. All right. King 318 says 3 to 4 hour work. If that 75K to 150K a year business. For sure. And then King 318 also says, depends on how many routes you have and your sales volumes. Bro, trust me, I'm going to be looking into this. 10 to 15K to get started. As a matter of fact, I'm glad that you even mentioning that because this is also part of this video. What I wanted to talk about was because like I've been looking at real estate, and then I was thinking like, okay, I wanted to do I was thinking about doing the containers, right? Been looking at the containers, and they got container apartments and things like that. And so I'm just thinking like, dang, you know what? You can remodel a container for like the low, like the low ski. You get a container. I've been talking to container companies. They were telling me how much they're going to cost and stuff like that. And it's like, that's so cheap, but you got to have the land, right? And then you got to have it in a location that even allows for that kind of thing. And I live in Atlanta. It's not a lot of places around here. If you know, we all got big houses. There's not a lot of container homes nearby. And that's based off of zoning and things like that. But you got to buy land. Excuse me. So you got to buy the land. So then the land is kind of like, so a couple months back, I was looking at a parcel of land. It was a decent size, and I always look back at it and I think like I should have bought it, but I was at the time thinking about buying land in the Bahamas. So I was kind of in between, and then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just pay these things, pay some things off, whatever like that. I'm just trying to get as liquid as I can. But what I noticed was when I went back recently to look, because I was doing this whole research thing, went back to look at the real estate from that time to see if it was still at the same price. I was thinking like, you know what, with the container homes, I could put it here. I'm gonna go ahead and get it. But when I looked for it, it was already sold, and I was like, dang, okay. So I'm start looking for more similar land, and it was none. Not for the price, and not for the location, and not for, the usability. There was really none. I would have to spend way more money now to find usable land. And so I was thinking like myself, like, what's happening with the land? Because the houses are becoming cheaper, but the land is going up in price. So I kind of left the land alone, right? And I wasn't trying to necessarily buy houses or anything, but I was just overall just like looking, right? Just looking at different things. And so I realized that I'm not going to be buying real estate anytime soon. Just not going to be doing it unless I was planning to remodel, or unless it was going to be a container or like a couple containers, because that's the only way it would even make sense, because it's a low amount for remodeling. Or well, you still have to do remodeling, right? But it's a low amount to do a container versus maybe a house, and of course, that's more of a niche kind of thing. And I still feel like if I did a container, it'd be for still long-term rental, and I don't really want to deal with tenants, or it would have to be an Airbnb, because who's really out here getting mortgages on container homes? I don't know. So it was just like a creative idea, but it wasn't serious. But it wasn't a serious money play. So I had to get out of my creative mind of like, I want to renovate and I want to do something cool. I had to get out of that mind, and let's just get back to focusing on the money. Can I get a $sign in the chat for focusing on the money? All right, so hold on. Let me read this. King 318 says Amazon had a business you could start for $10K a while back, but I don't know all the particulars. I need to hear about all this. $10K, that's easy work. We can do that. So I said let's get back to focusing on where money is for real. Okay, so I knew real estate was out. The commercial real estate was still a viable play because you can run a business out of there. And you can do a lot of things with commercial real estate that you just can't do with with like residential real estate. And so I was looking for a downtown area building, and I found one in the area that I wanted, and I felt that it was way too high. Felt it because of the condition it was in. I thought it was worth, I had my little calculator, I'm calculating. I felt that it was worth maybe 125. That's what I felt like it was worth. That's just what I mean. It's not like it's holes in, like the floor got to be fixed. The basement is trashed. Like it's toe up on the end. Like part of it is toe up, not all of it. Part of it is decent, but it need a lot of work. Like, and it's commercial stuff. Like even the exterior, the structure, the roof, and all, it needs work. That stuff can be expensive. So I was just thinking, you know what? It's worth like 125 just cause location. And the guy wanted 380, and I was like, wait. So I went back and looked. He paid. So you can look and see what somebody else paid for something. He paid 30,000 for it. Now that was 20 years ago, right? Well, he wants $380,000 now, and I don't know what work he did to it. So I'm not gonna say he ain't put no money because it was an operational business. Like multiple businesses have rented it from him, but I was just like, man, I ain't paying no $380,000 for something that I can't even use yet. You know, I still got to put maybe, I don't know how much more money because it's commercial. So I always think the worst, of course, when it's commercial. So that was kind of that. But I do like commercial real estate. Definitely over residential, at least right now, as long as you can get it for a decent price. Unless, well, apartment buildings would still be considered commercial real estate. So I am kind of open to like maybe looking at an apartment thing. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to pump the brakes on real estate. Let me look at another asset class. So I looked at stocks. Yeah, so stocks. So, I mean, of course, like if you got a 401k, you're already in stocks. See, King 318, he don't even know it, but he really speaking genius stuff right now. He really is. Y'all don't, I'm going to explain. Let me get through the stocks first. Well, stocks is how I even got to where King 318 is talking about. All right? So stocks. I was looking into stocks. And of course, if you got 401k plan or if you got a mutual fund or you got any kind of brokerage account, you're already invested in stocks. So I got a few bands in my 401k. As a matter of fact, I don't even take a check from my job. I put all the money in my 401k. My entire check goes into my 401k, except if I do overtime. The overtime money just won't go in there, so I'll get like a little check from that. But I'm deferring my entire salary into my 401k right now. Yeah, and he says King 318 also says or have some sober living homes. It's so many things. He doesn't know how crazy tough his statements are. They tough. But okay, let me get back. All right, so I was looking at stocks. So I was like, okay, well, I put money in my 401k and I invest in the S&P 500, right? 500 largest companies, makes sense to invest in them. More so now than ever before because of the new administration that we're about to have. And so it just makes more sense to, that the largest companies are going to do well. So that was always, they got more than likely the largest companies have the best leadership. They have the best legal teams. They have the best products. We're talking like Apple, Google. This is a Google product that we're utilizing right now. This is YouTube. So YouTube is a Google product, and people buy Google ads, and there's all sorts of ways that Google makes money, and Google is here to stay, and they got very smart people, and they're ingrained into society a certain kind of way. Apple, my iPhone is sitting right here. Most of us have iPhones. I have an Android. So these large companies are in this S&P 500, and they make products that we use and that are integrated in our daily lives. They're the safest bet you can kind of make. It's safer than the government. You know what I'm saying? Because yeah. Anyway, so I'm investing in those companies through my 401k, right? And so I was like, okay, well, what about the extra money that I have? Where, because that money already goes there. So I opened up separate brokerage account and I was just like testing some stuff out. Now in the meantime, I caught wind of Bitcoin going crazy, so I just bought a couple dollars of it. You know, I saw it going crazy, and I ain't really one of those jump on a bandwagon kind of thing. But I was doing my research, and I knew it was going to go over 100,000. So I just bought a little bit, just to test my theory. Right? It went up. It got, I think, around 103, and I just got out of it because I was like, okay, yeah, that's you know it. I made more than what I spent, you know, or whatever. So it wasn't a lot though, but it was just like a test. And so I just been testing different things. So I was also testing stocks. So I started to think about the same logic that I was applying before about investing in the S&P 500. I never really invested in individual stocks like that, you know, but I bought a little bit of a company, a little stock, like 3 shares, like something small. Like I said, I'm just testing. I bought like 3 shares of this company because for whatever reason, I don't know what's happening, but everywhere around me, people keep talking about fintech. I meet people that work in fintech. I read up, and some business that I'm reading about also does fintech or is getting into the fintech space. So I'm like, okay, so I put a couple I buy a couple shares of this company that do fintech that have a notable name or something. So it's just something to test. I actually lost money on that. I lost like $1 on that. Like I bought it well, I attempted to buy it that night, but the markets was closed. So it was like, okay, well, it'll purchase it in the morning. But by the time I looked at it that afternoon, I had lost $1. I don't like losing no money. I ain't getting nothing. I ain't investing in nothing to lose no money. Okay, now I know it's a long-term play or whatever, but I don't like to see money go down as soon as I spend it. I don't like that. Now, at the same time, I applied my logic of the S&P 500 logic, right? And then I said, wait, so I'm investing in the 500 largest companies, but why couldn't, I wish it was a way to, because if we're talking 500 companies, they continuously get worse and worse over, you know, as they go further and further down. And I said, man, I really prefer to just invest in the top 10 or the top 100 or something like that. And so I started looking for, and I wasn't sure if I was even going to find it. I was just looking for a mutual fund or index fund that was that invested in the top 100 companies. Because, you know, the companies might get incredibly bad at 20, like, you know, compared to the top 20. You know, like the top 20 companies might be operating at like 99%, but then once you get to 21, you might be like, there might be a 10% drop off, 20% drop off. See, I don't know. I'm just using an idea. And so I found a stock that was like iShares, S&P 100 or something like that. And so I was like, you know what? This is at the same time when I was buying the other shares or whatever, this other company. I was like, you know what? I'm going to try this idea, and I'm going to try to do this invest in one company stock kind of thing and see how that works. Let me see if I can pick a stock. That stock did terrible. Well, like I lost $1, so I say terrible. But I made money on the S&P 100 stock, which makes all the sense in the world to me anyway. I don't know why I didn't just think to do the whole thing there. But so I've been looking at stocks. So the advantage of stocks is you can get out of it quickly. That's the advantage of stocks. You can get out of it quick. Hold on. Okay. All right. See, and now D-Torn said, Mr. Rucker says, group homes are crazy money. That's a fact. It's so much we got to talk about. It's so much. I don't have that much time. I'm gonna get up off of here in a second. But I definitely gotta discuss. I definitely gotta discuss uh, this how I ended up where King 318 as well as Mr. Rucker. I gotta tell y'all how I got to where they talking about. So I'm looking at these stocks, and I really like the stocks. I really like stocks. I'm not big on my 401ks in there. I'm probably heaviest. I probably have the most money in real estate still, just cause my house or whatever. But I do have. I'm probably investing more in stocks. Now, what I like about stocks is I can move to China, I can move to the Netherlands, and I still own these stocks, and I can get in and get out of it, at a drop of a dime. So that's really good. But um, I know that. So I think I made. Let's say a stock that I put $50 in made 3 cents today. And that was the positive. That was one of the good ones, right? So if it made 3 cents today, right, but it cost me $50 to own it to make 3 cents today, I was like, imagine if I spent $50. It's my business, and I spent $50, and I was to make out of that $50. That $50 made me $200. That then I have $150 profit, right? But that's not what's ever that would never happen to a minority shareholder. You get a 3 cent profit on that. Like they might make $200 off of that $50. The company might make $200 off that $50, and they're gonna give the shareholder for your $50. They're gonna give you 3 cents, right? So I said, okay, well, if looking at things like my favorite stock investor, which is Warren Buffett, he wants to buy controlling interest. He wants to buy enough where they have a seat at the table to make an actual decision. They want to buy controlling interest and not interested really too much in not being a controlling or having a controlling interest unless, well, let's say he did it with Berkshire Hathaway. He bought a controlling interest and was able to start purchasing other companies with that company, and that's how you got the Geicos and all of that kind of stuff. But if I want to be in owning the business, then I need to be a majority shareholder. That would never happen when you're talking about. Well, I'm not more than likely ever going to be in a position where I got enough money to buy a controlling interest of a company that's on that's traded on the stock exchange. Those companies are worth billions and some trillions of dollars and stuff. So, right, and there are some. Francisco Silva says I start putting money in dividend growth stocks. That's really good. And he also says then REITs and bond ETFs. I like that too. Like you definitely should diversify. That's that's one of the things I learned about stocks is that you should diversify. You should have you should have some ETFs. You should have growth stocks. You should have mutual funds. But so when I was like looking at this, and I said, man, I would like to purchase, by controlling interest, because the business being able to decide salaries and whatever that kind of thing, and what is going to be your share, having a real controlling interest was more to my liking. But the problem is, those companies on the stock exchange are worth hundreds of millions and billions of dollars and trillions of dollars. So to buy a controlling interest, if you're going to buy enough shares to be a controlling interest, you got to have a crazy amount of money. A crazy amount of money. But Could you buy controlling interest in a company for $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, $50,000? Yes, yes, yes. It's not the ones on the stock exchange, not the ones on the stock exchange, but there are people who are selling their companies all the time, and you can buy one. You can buy one of these companies. It's people who are selling their company, and you can buy their company. Vending machine business. This guy may have 20 vending machines in Nebraska. I don't know what's in Nebraska. I don't know. But he may have 20 vending machines in Nebraska. He may say, man, somebody give me $10,000 for this, man. I'm done, man. I'm tired. I'm old. My kids don't want nothing to do with these vending machines. And you might be able to purchase 20 vending machines that are already placed that might be making a certain amount of money. You can upgrade the machines. You can change out the products and put, maybe he's selling Czech sodas and you decide you want to sell Coca-Cola sodas. He was being cheap. You're going to be a little more premium with your product. Or maybe vice versa. Maybe you're going to sell the Czech sodas instead of paying 50 cents for a soda, you're paying 25, and you're selling it for the same amount as the Coca-Cola, whatever your thing is, whatever. I'm just throwing stuff out there. But you can buy businesses, and you will be the controlling interest. You can actually buy controlling interest. So I started looking at that, which is why, let me go back to King 318. He's talking about, so when it kind of brought me back to the commercial real estate place, because when I started thinking about the commercial real estate place that I was originally looking at, I could put whatever business in my commercial space. And so I started looking at things. I never thought about drug testing center, but yes, absolutely, you can do that. But I definitely was looking at group homes and foster homes, and well, I guess group homes are foster homes. But I was looking at all of these different kind of, foster homes are not group homes, but they're part of the same system. But veteran homes and all kind of stuff. So I was looking at all of that different kind of stuff or whatever. And all of those things seem interesting. Even just you got a spot, you can put a barbershop in there. You can own a barbershop without being a barber. You just got to have a barbershop license, but that's a completely different story. But owning the business, we need to own the business. We need to own the business. So the best bang for your buck is going to come from owning the business or owning a business. Maybe buying controlling interest in somebody else's business or whatever, but we need to own the business. Well, that's where my focus is right now. So right now, I'm trying to continue growing my bread up until it gets to a point where either I'm buying a business or real estate looks good again. And don't get me wrong, I'm going to be putting money in stocks and stuff. I mean, I'm constantly doing that. But we need to, my plan is to run my bread up, and my head is on the swivel. I'm like this right here. I'm analyzing everything, But there was a period of time where I was more actively, like if I seen something, I was buying it. If I saw it, I'm buying it. But I'm not doing that right now because real estate looking crazy. I have a new plan, so I'm still on the swivel, but I'm looking for bread routes or something that makes financial sense. Group homes that make financial sense. That makes sense. It's a lot of money in group homes. As a matter of fact, Mr. Rucker, if you're still on here, could you tell these people the kind of money that people are making with group homes? I don't remember it off the top of my head, but I do know that's something I was looking into. It's crazy money. Okay. Francisco Silva says, I feel like it's not paying me, then I feel like if it's not paying me, then it's like gold, and I want something that pays me for doing nothing. Okay. Yeah, see, what I don't like about gold and silver and stuff like that is, well, it's kind of like Bitcoin, right? Like, well, it's like a lower form of Bitcoin. But what I don't like about gold and those kind of things, they don't duplicate themselves, right? Like if you had a business that made, I don't know, plastic forks, you're producing something. You're creating something. If you had two goats, a male and female goat, all things princess, what's up? But if you had two goats, those goats will breed and create more goats, right? Gold, if you buy an ounce of gold and you leave it sitting in a room, you buy 2 ounces of gold and you leave them sitting in a room. You buy a male ounce of gold and a female ounce of gold. You leave them sitting in the room. You come back after 20 years, that's still those 2 ounces of gold. They ain't never duplicate themselves. They ain't never produce nothing more. They ain't never do nothing. None of that. None of that's gonna happen. There is no male and female piece of gold. You know, they're not gonna create more of themselves. So that's why I don't like things like that. But when you buy Apple and they produce these iPhones, they're creating a product. They're creating something that it can continue to sell and sell and sell and sell. So, I'm not a big proponent of investing in gold. Killing myself laughing. You can jump off in some pimping. Whoa, jeez, jeez, jeez. No, I can't. I cannot. We have a client here in Houston making $100K a month. $100,000 a month. I want y'all to understand this. $100,000 a month for a group home. For a group home. For a group home. Yeah. Yeah. I got to tell y'all, I got to get somebody on here to talk to y'all about the foster care business. Foster care, you might have some bad kids now, but they making money tax free. Again, thousands of dollars. You might get a kid for $2,500 a month. You get 3 of them. That's $7,500 a month, tax free. I mean, that ain't the worst kids now. The worst kids you can probably get $4,000, close to $5,000 a month for a terrible kid. But that's why I said 2,500. You know what I'm saying? It ain't that bad. It ain't bad as that. But yeah. So and you could be doing something good for the community, like what it is, the group home. The group home is these kids, man. They need people to take care of them, who gonna care about them, who gonna keep them safe, and who gonna make sure that they got a decent place to sleep. They need people. It's not a bad thing to do. You just are able to get paid for it. And apparently $100,000 a month. Jeez, that's crazy. That's crazy. Right? So you've been a foster parent, shoot, you could make money. But I ain't even really get into all that with y'all yet. We're gonna talk, man. We're gonna talk. I gotta come back and make some more videos. But yeah, so we're gonna we can jump into all of this information, but I definitely got to go check out these bread trucks. All right, check out the bread trucks, because my boy say you can get some money, $10,000-$15,000 a month, $10,000-$15,000 startup, get you some of these bread routes. Hold on, I'm gonna try and go back and see what he said was the profit. Ooh, okay, 3 to 4 hours. So yeah, he said for 3 to 4 hours of work, you could make like $75,000 to $150,000 a year. Crazy. For delivering bread with a box truck. It's crazy because my uncle just called me saying that my cousin was looking at buying a box truck, and he was asking me what I thought about it. And I was like, well, I had hot shot, so what are you delivering with the box truck? That's all I cared about, like, because Anything can make money. I just don't know what you delivering. But that, if you're getting a bread route and you're making that, then great. Yeah. So there you go. Anyway, I just wanted to come on here and talk to you guys about that. But if you find any value in these videos, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And we out.